Hey patrons, how's it going? I thought, you know what? Let's try to do some more videos just for you guys. Lately, I've been posting videos on YouTube. Most of you guys, you follow me there anyway. But I just don't have a lot of time to do streaming and stuff, which I've talked to death about. I want to fix that if I can. But being a new father and stuff like that, it's my son's almost a year and a half now, and I still haven't got it figured out. So I don't know if I ever will. What I thought I would do though is from time to time, maybe once a month would be ideal, to just do somebody's commission and just shoot the breeze while we're doing it. So this will be the first test of that, I suppose. Perhaps what we could do going forward, and I've seen other patrons do this, or Patreon people, and I think I was doing it in the beginning of Patreon, I forget. But either way, some Q&A stuff. So we'll give it a shot. If you guys have any questions, post them in underneath this video. I'll also make an additional post this week, kind of talking a little bit more about the Q&A. So any questions you guys have there, put them there. If nobody's got questions, that's okay. I can ramble. I can figure it out. But we'll try to treat these as some Q&A, and while we're doing, a commission for a fellow patron, one of your fellow patrons. So this here is a character from Nick Roberts. I guess his name is Wheelman. And we're just gonna get into it. For those that don't know, here on Patreon anyway, I like to usually select one person a month to get a colored version of this. Unfortunately, Nick, sorry, you didn't get you didn't win this month. So this is just going to be black and white. What I've been doing here, I'll just show you guys somebody else's that we did. Oh man. I apologize. I don't know exactly who this was for, but I've been just slapping a color on, a single color. Normally what I would do is just like black and white, with like a layer of shading, but I've just been getting a kick out of adding a single character, or a single color, I should say. Man, it'd be nice to have all these, this kind of stuff, ready when we go to a stream. Dang, where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, so this sort of thing here. And we'll talk about the style switch too, and going forward with that. But anyway, it'll be something along the lines of this, where you just throw in something, right? Like it's not full color, but it's a little extra something something. It doesn't really take too much time, which is good, because what I'm trying to do is keep these under an hour for sure. And I've talked about this before too, and I mean, I hope this doesn't sound conceited or anything. I'm totally aware and thankful for anybody willing to throw money at me. Like that's amazing. Thank you so much. But I'm trying to do the value thing, right? Of how much is something worth, and that's very difficult as an artist. And I hope some of you guys get to feel that one day, if you're not already feeling that. Of like, what do you value your work at and stuff, right? So it's more of an internal thing, like what do I deliver for X money, right? And it's been great. It helps me keep on track of things, because ultimately I'd like to just knock out everything I do, and not that I don't make everything the best I can make it, but I do definitely think sometimes it can escape us a little bit, and we can kind of get lost in just doing the work, and forgetting that time is money and all that gross stuff, and it's really weird to talk about, because like sometimes the more I talk about like this kind of thing, especially with you guys, because patrons are special, or a special batch in my mind, where it's you guys are actually willing to throw money at me every month, or at least once a month, then you leave, or some people come and go, right? And that's all cool. It's all natural stuff. It's just very weird, because it's not the same as somebody coming to me asking for a commission and then leaving, like asking, yo, could you do a cover for me or design a character? Those are different, right? And Patreon's been one of those things that's been amazing. And that's 100% because of you guys and you ladies out there. So thank you. Anyway, okay, so the workflow I've been doing lately with this new style, like nothing's changed. It's all the same. Like literally everything's the same here. I guess what I wanted to talk about is more of the direction of the Kirby, Bruce Timm kind of style that I've decided to go in this year. Maybe a little bit more of the wise, and I think I will be talking about it a little bit more throughout the year. Just because I think it's an interesting topic. Maybe maybe not so much for everybody here that has listened to me talk about style and trying to stick with a style or find a style for a good portion of 2020. 2020 was just like a nightmare for a lot of people, right? For me, it was besides it being crappy for the obvious reasons, just like mindsets and where to go from there and doubt of direction to go in and all that stuff was definitely a part of 2020. When I had started 2020, I had asked you guys, I put a poll out there because I'm very self conscious when it comes to art. And it's a negative thing for sure. I'm a firm believer that an artist should be making art however they want to he or she wants to make the art and go from there. However, if you're in any kind of creative industry like I work at a video game company, right? So I have to still answer to somebody. They have a vision, like I am the art director there, which has been great, and I ultimately get the I don't want to say even the final say, but I get to at least start the conversation. I'll call it with the art, right? And then my boss, he gets to you know he might not like the way something looks, which is totally fine. And then I gotta go in and make some adjustments and stuff, right? But when we're doing our own thing, it's definitely in your best interest, and I'll just say from experience, it's in your best interest to start making your own stuff. And I think something that's been amazing with the internet, as most of you guys already know, hopefully, especially younger people, I notice they're already into this stuff, that it's like, of course, what else would you do, you know? But in 2020, I wanted to do this style here that you're seeing. And I mean, even the one that I just brought up there, but like I posted this on online, man, for the last month, I'll say. I'll just bring up one. I'm really proud of this one here, the Silver Surfer one. So I'm just going to bring that open just so you guys can kind of see here. And I posted the process of this too. You guys can just scroll back if you missed that. And a couple posts on Patreon here, right? But it starts the same. This is no different than how I normally would draw. The only difference here is, like, I would say this is like that Bruce Timm thing, right? Where he gets that one line, two line. Bruce Timm was one of those guys I found much later in my life. Once I started going down like the Dave Finch, Jim Lee image artist direction, leaving my Joe Madureira sort of roots and going down the Jim Lee kind of rendering and all that. What I was finding was people like Bruce Timm and stuff, this cartoony, simple kind of look. I just wasn't I didn't dig it. It wasn't until I got a little bit older and time becomes an issue, right? It just all of a sudden I'm just like, there's actually some cool stuff here, and re-finding Kirby and actually appreciating it this time around, man, it's been amazing. And 2020 was initially supposed to be this art style that I'm working in right now, and we're gonna get into it right here. It was initially supposed to be this, but then COVID happened, just like it did with a lot of. Well, it happened for everybody, really. But for me, one of the biggest problems that I ended up having was I also got let go of my job. I'm working there now. Everything did end up working out so far, so I did get rehired on. But it was scary, guys. I was out of a job and I've got mouths to feed here, right? And I was like, oh God. So I did what I think any artist would do is, or at least maybe not any artist. What I do is I always try to get like a day job somewhere, doing something. I think it's just ingrained in me to do that. I've been that way since growing up. That's the way my dad always taught me, right? He's not an artist at all, but it's like that old school way of thinking. I think where it's like, there's a security in a day job, and that's not necessarily true, and it is true at the same time. It's very different, or it's very odd, especially if you're an artist, I think. But yeah, so I was able to, I got some unemployment there, and with that, I was like, you know what? I've got a few months. This might be my way to transition into doing comics, and even that's a whole nother video I'd like to do is my changing stance on comics. Like, I don't even think I'm pursuing that anymore. Like, I'm doing a little bit of comic work right now for somebody, but it's not like my own stuff. Maybe that'll change. I don't know. But anyway, so I had to shift. Like I'm saying here, this look that I'm doing right now is the direction I wanted to go. But because I had no income anymore, right? I was like, oh God, all right. Well, if I'm gonna work for comics or whatever, my traditional art style, uh, luckily, and I've been able to scratch a little extra money on the side from doing art projects, Patreon. YouTube doesn't really pay anything for me anymore, but and it never really did. But it was like a little bit of cheese coming in. And I just had to make the decision: do I want to try doing this new look, this new style, or do I want to see if I can, transition into getting a full time gig doing my own thing, like whether it's the Marvel DC thing or if it's freelance for people. And since this style is so, um, I don't even know how to word it. I had a friend say, it looks like I don't know how to draw, which is fair. I understand that too. Um, it was between that or just do what I've normally been doing and see if we can make some money going that way. That way I can feed my family, right? So I had to be selfless there and just go, all right, well, I got to do whatever I can to keep money coming in. So that's a really long-winded way of getting to that's why I stopped doing it. But since things have kind of gotten a little bit more back to normal, at least in my world, uh, thankfully and luckily, this is the time to do it. The year just ended. We're back. Really, it's almost like I got delayed a year, and it gave me a lot of time to learn some stuff and redraw and all kinds of crazy things. But it's been great. I've been having a blast doing this stuff, and so one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up was the why. Like, why the hell would you do this? Why? Um, I have had people ask, and there. I don't think some of the people that have asked this are patrons. Maybe some of you are, and I apologize if I forgot you. But because I haven't really made a YouTube video about this, I haven't really done YouTube. Ever since having my son, it's like I just got no time for nothing. It's very hard to reschedule. Guys, what I used to do before, and if you haven't gotten used to it yet, the rambling's still starting, is what I used to do before is I would go to work, I'd come home, I used to make a schedule for myself. Okay, I'm home it's 5 p.m. I got to make, dinner. So let's say my work day starts at 6 now. What does that mean? Okay, so if my work day starts at 6, what do I got to do? Okay, well, I got to reply to some emails, and I call it administration style stuff, right? We're going to do that until 6:30, and then from there we're going to draw this or that until 7. This new video game came out, I want to play that, so I need to be done my workday by 9. And it was very organized and structured, and I thrived in that environment, and I hope to get back to that eventually, right? Once I relearn what I need to learn right now with Alexander being at the forefront and having to change some stuff. But as he gets older, the independence will come in, and then we can start getting back into that stuff. But again, I have no idea when that even is. But now that I got the little guy, that's one of the founding reasons, right? Like, I know I just off the top was saying one of the main reasons I didn't go through with this style here was because I knew I could leverage a style that I had already worked in and developed for so many years, and people were interested in it, and it could get me food money, right? So I don't think anybody would hold anybody to blame for something like that. But now that everything's sort of ironed out, it's almost like a reset, to be honest with you guys. There's something about this thing, this art style that I'm drawing in now that I haven't been able to do working in my other style, and it's been wild. Like, obviously this is quicker. I mean, how long have we been going here? 13 minutes. That's a lot of rambling, but 13 minutes, and I'm almost done this. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are gonna see the inks are gonna get slapped on here, and I think it'll look pretty sharp. But speed is the primary thing. I want to spend as much time as I can with my little guy. Um, and on top of that, whoops. The other thing is I felt like I was getting stale, man. Like, the way I was drawing before, I couldn't do certain things. Like this pose you're seeing here, yeah, I could see this would have been fine. I could have done this in my traditional style. But like that Silver Surfer I showed you, there's just a bendiness and a thing that when I started looking at Kirby a little bit more, that I noticed I can't. maybe I could. Maybe I just wasn't trying hard enough or something, but I just felt like, I'd look at people like Corey Lewis, Ray online, follow him. He's You might see a lot of influence coming from him in my stuff. Him, even Kirby with the scribbly render lines. I felt like I couldn't get away with doing that. I did some examples and some tests before just to see if I could get some coolness going on, but it just, I don't know. There was something that just didn't feel right with it. And I wish I could explain it more than that, but ever since drawing like this, and I don't know, maybe it is just because it's a little bit more sloppy and loose, but I don't know. I don't see it that way. I guess what I'm saying right now, as you can tell, like I'm all over the place as usual. Some of the even the wording I'm noticing I'm saying is from other people that I've shown this stuff, or people that have left comments and all that, where maybe they prefer the way I used to draw, and that's totally cool too. I don't think anybody's to blame or anything like that, but it's different stuff, man. And this working like this, honestly, is the first time in a long time that I felt like I'm getting an artistic voice out. I feel like the way I was drawing before, and it might not come across this way. Maybe it does. I'm not sure, but it just started feeling like I was drawing like other people. I've talked to death about wanting to work for Marvel DC and then not wanting to work for them and all that, because that was an older goal, and life has changed and life's different now, and I really don't think you need to work for those companies. If you want to, God bless, do your thing. But just the way I act and the way that I draw and what I pursue is almost like in the contrary. I think I would pursue Marvel and DC if I absolutely had to, right? Like, let's say I lost my job again. 100% I know I would try to start to leverage my artistic ability and maybe get a job somewhere, right? And you got to go where the jobs are. So I don't think that would change. But if that's not the case, then this is the kind of stuff, I don't know. It's like, it's comic books, right? Like, it's Kirby looking, and it's like, I mean, this is a superhero, for God's sake. But it's not, in my mind, when I started drawing, this kind of look is not something I would have considered would get me work. And maybe it won't. I really don't know. We'll find out, We'll find out as the year goes on and time goes on. Maybe I'll change my mind. I'm pretty good at that. So we'll see, you know? But right now it feels pretty good. So the main reasons, again, just to make sure, I just want to make sure that even though I'm rambling, I'm able to at least communicate with you guys here. And then I'm going to talk about what I'm kind of doing here with the style here. Yeah, so speed 100%, and then the other major factor is, honestly, it's like creative freedom. I feel like I'm able to bend figures, and there's no prejudice I'm putting on myself. Like, I don't want to say a standard. I want it to look good, right? But at the same time, I feel like I'm able to do things here that I haven't been able to do. So yeah, we'll keep that going. One of the things is this guy's got a lot of black on his costume, right? And I wanted to really mess around with this kind of Kirby stuff, the way he would draw like Black Panther and all that, right? So we're gonna mess around with that. So what I've been doing here is we just got the tight line art. Like, this is normally how I would work before, right? But you gotta see that Bruce Timm stuff. I really like how he does shapes. It's simple, but it gives you motion and movement. Love it. I don't always want to do this shape here, but sometimes in like a classic pose like this, it always works. Excuse me. And some of the other stuff I want to get back to doing are like overlapping shapes a little bit. Let me see if I can bring up something. This one, will this one work? Maybe. I'll just bring this up. This is like an older one. But whatever. So like we got like a cut off forearm here, and then a bicep, and then a shoulder, like that kind of stuff. Not everything just being like animation style lines, but sometimes it works. And then what I like to do, I mean, I'm putting a little bit of Kirby stuff in here because you got it. It's just I love it. So here, what I would normally do is I could kind of come in here and start throwing in some like Kirby lines, right? And I will, I think, we'll see. But he's got a lot of black on his costume. So what I'm trying to do here is maybe this would be a really good time to really put those blobby black shapes in here, right? So if we've got like this, get his peck kind of coming in here. Is this all on a different layer? Okay, let me just do this real quick. Oops, we're gonna cut that, paste it. At least this way it's on a different layer. If I don't like it, we can just get rid of it. But anyway, that's enough about me. Yeah, so if you guys got questions and stuff, leave them below. I'd love to hear them. And hopefully we can turn this into a thing. I'd love to be able to, like, I'm always trying to think of ways to get you guys on Patreon here more custom content. You know, like things that, like I said, you guys are paying, you know, and I always appreciate that. So, what the hell? Oh, I got my eraser selected. But yeah, I always want to be able to give you guys more or whatever you guys need. So please, if you've got something specific that you're thinking of that you wish maybe I used to do something and I haven't really done it in a while, yeah, let me know. This is I like to look at Patreon as, yeah, you know, like, thank you. I am getting paid for this, and that's tremendous. But you know, I always want to make sure you guys are getting your money's worth. So maybe you guys don't like this sort of stuff and you want something else. Let me know about that too. You know, can always change stuff. So this kind of like this might look a little bit more like Bruce Timm, you know, this sort of shine. But I've seen Kirby do it, and I've been looking at a lot of Kirby stuff. I've been thinking of making some posts too for those of you that are interested in it. I don't really read much comics. You guys know that. I used to, but I don't know. My flavors kind of changed lately. But needless to say, you know, like I still like looking at Kirby. You know, some of it's a little rough to look at. I'm not gonna say otherwise. Um, but the way that he does like these blobby black shapes and stuff, man, I tell you, when I was doing my traditional style stuff, this sort of thing, like my brain wouldn't let me get past all the studying and reference I'd done, where it's like, even though I have really, I would argue, really crappy anatomy, you know, like it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's more blobby kind of stuff. You know, I could still look at something and go like, that looks wrong. And I would look at, I look at Kirby stuff or even kind of the stuff I'm doing now. And I'll tell you what changed. But looking at that stuff, I would go like, that's not, I don't know what the light source is. You know, these blobby shapes don't make a lot of sense. But what changed for me was just going, oh, he's not, the art that he's doing isn't necessarily supposed to be bad, or it's not, you know, he's not doing something wrong. What I'm looking at is this is a guy that figured out how to get energy into a 2D image by escaping a lot of things that might hold you back with anatomy. That's how I rationalize it. If that makes a lot of sense to anybody. You know, like there's shapes and language and stuff in there that you can't really do necessarily with proper anatomy. At least I haven't been able to. I've been struggling with it, and that's why I think this is so refreshing for me, because I'm seeing stuff that you know, that I haven't been able to do with my own work. I've tried to do, like, you know, like add Kirby to stuff, like that flag bearer picture that I was just showing you guys a little bit before. That was me doing what I traditionally would do, but try to add, you know, like some Kirby dots and stuff like that. Um, and I'd like to do a whole video on like just this Kirby dot stuff that I've been learning. It's not just putting dots, guys. It's like breaking up negative space and stuff. It's cool. But anyway, I don't have the chat open like I normally do, when we're doing these streams. In the chat, it was always able to reel me back in when I would start drifting off, rambling about different things. And I could look back and like, oh, right, we were just talking about that. But yeah, this one's almost done. This has been a lot of fun. I hope you like it, Nick. I really do hope you appreciate, or not appreciate, but that you dig this. Again, I know a lot of cats. You know, like this is another thing I thought about too. I'm like, you know, back when I was trying to like really study comics, like right when I was in my infancy of comics, and I think a lot of you guys might be there or still there, or you were there. You're like, all right, I want to work at Marvel DC or whatever. You start looking at comics, right? And there's something about like the Finches and the Jim Lees. I think it's just good art. You know, like it's well drawn art. It's great craftsmanship. And then I look at Kirby, maybe because people always say like the king of comics, right? So you look at it, you're like, what the fuck is this? Those hands look awful. I'm so used to seeing well-drawn art. You know what I mean? And now I'm looking at this and it's like, why is this guy the king? And then you read up and you're like, okay, so he made some stuff. Oh, he invented like language, like Kirby dots and energy and power. Okay, I'll give him. He gets the respect. I get it. But like, I wasn't like looking at it going, oh my goodness, what is that? And I think it wasn't until trying to draw some of the stuff where I was like, wow, this guy did actually figure out so many shortcuts. This is unreal. I love it. And through that, I was able to just go, ooh, okay. I'm just going to pick up pink. I don't know if you guys can see the color. Here, let me just bring this down. So this is just CMYK that I like to do for this. But normally, you guys can go back. I have something you could download for this. It's the 128 colors that were print for DC, I think it was. Marvel used similar ones. This is the color palette I've been using for everything lately. And then I'll add like a shadow pass. Yeah, just so you guys can see, because I know this crops it off here. Okay, so what I think, and I realized I was talking about something, and then I got away from myself. Maybe we just do, because I'm trying to make this look like, like it pops. I was just wondering if I add shadow to him. You know what? I think this is what we'll do. We're just going to go like that, and then maybe what we'll do, because again, I want the colored ones that people get to feel a little bit special, a little more special, So maybe we'll just go like that. Whoops. You know what we should do? Let's, I'm going to fill this in black. I think that's it. I think that's good to go. I didn't know this was going to be done so fast. I'm not used to doing this stuff with you guys. But anyway, I hope you guys dug it. Here, we're just going to put on our little signature. Bam, 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 bam. There we go. We're going to give it a little savey poo. And then I'm still putting this. Check this out. I got like this paper texture, right? I don't even think you can see it in CMYK. Look at that. It's there, but like you can't really see it. So what I've been doing is I try to figure out this. Man, I got so much. I want to talk to you guys about a whole bunch of stuff. I've been working in the shadows, guys. I miss talking to you guys. Old school texture, okay? Check this out. Look at this, right? I'm not 100% sure if I want to go down this road. Like, I'm not making comics, right? And this has that comic feel to it. We're going to try it, though, okay? So I'm going to copy this. This is how I've been doing a whole bunch of my finishes here, right? So we're going to go like that. We're going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to merge it with the layer so it's on its own. Then we're going to duplicate that again, right? I'm just going to clip it to itself. Go filter, blur. Now this might not work out because this is a little bit of a smaller image. Let's try, yeah, we'll try 60. So we go here, change this to overlay, and it doesn't look that bad, but normally I bring this down to 33%. I'm just going to turn it on and off to see the difference. It's just a slight one. What it's supposed to do is just sort of like harmonize the colors. I think if I could just crank it up, it'll be fine. Yeah, let's try it. And then I'm just going to paste that old school texture effect on top. Yeah. See that? Now there's like a little bit of a paper texture kind of going in here. I like that. That looks good. He is getting... See, that's the other thing, is I don't like characters getting lost in this stuff with the CMYK stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn all that off. And I think what we'll do is I'm going to put... The fire should be yellow as well. Or maybe the fire shouldn't be. Okay, let's pick our blue for the background. And let's get the red. You know what I mean? Like at least this is a little bit. It's really cool working with just 3 colors too. You have to really start thinking about how you do stuff. It's just been fun. I feel like I'm relearning a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm having a blast. So I'm giving myself an excuse here to sort of just fart around a bit and just to see what kind of, what happens. Let's try, just for kicks before I let you guys go, let's make this yellow, right? Let's make this just a hot image. Let's see how this looks. I think I actually like that better. It's got a little bit of fire to it, a bit of zing. Yeah, okay, so we're good. What we're going to do is we're just going to duplicate what we just did there, okay? So I'm going to duplicate that whole layer. Whoops. Duplicate it, please. All right, make a new layer, merge, bang, bang, bang. Duplicate it, filter, blur, Gaussian blur, 60%. Then we're going to change this to overlay. Put that at 33%. Boom, drop that texture on. I want to see something. If I crank this to 100, you know what? I think I might. Nah. looking a little bit like a highlighter. Okay, well anyway, there you go, guys. This is Wheelman for Nicholas. Thank you so much, brother. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, again, leave any comments below for questions. I'll try to do this once a month. I will make a post if you guys want to reply officially to that one too. And yeah, take care, you guys. I guess we'll end it like we normally do. Keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.